What is that crazy homesteading lady up to today? I am going to talk about the benefits of sprouting your seeds. Good morning. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we're going to talk about whether it's worth it to start your seeds from sprouts, or if it's better just to put the seed in the soil. Today we're going to compare which one works best. I have 3 types of seeds that I am going to sprout today. The first one is parsley. I have 3 different varieties of parsley, and I raise a lot of that. As my husband says, I don't think you raise it for us. I think you raise it for the butterflies. He's got it. So 3 different types of parsley. I have spinach and I have marigolds. And all of those things I am going to start sprouting before I plant them. There are only 4 things you need to get started with sprouting. First, you're going to need some paper towels. Then you're going to need a container so that the moisture stays on that paper towel. The worst thing you can do is let it dry out. So you need something. A lot of people use Ziplocs. I try to use something I can use over and over again. And as you know, I was a teacher, so I have so many containers. These work great because they have lids. So you need a container, you need paper towels, you need seeds, and you need water. That is all it takes to get started on sprouting. I grow an awful lot of marigolds. I love marigolds. And once I heard that they can deter snakes from entering your yard, I plant even more marigolds. And so I plant hundreds and hundreds of them every year, and I place them around the perimeters of my flower beds and my yards. And honestly, I don't see too many more snakes. I bought these seeds last year at Dollar General. These are the giant mixed colored marigolds, and I have 2 packs of them. Now, since they were last year, I can expect that not all of them will germinate, but I think most of them will. To start these seeds sprouting, all I need to do is literally shake the seeds on my paper towel. At this point, I want to spread them out. What are the advantages of sprouting your seeds before planting them? One of the major ones is germination rate. Not all of these seeds are going to germinate. So by starting them as sprouts, if they don't start to grow, I don't plant them. So I save time, I save space, but I also can check the germination. Another advantage of starting them as sprouts is that it speeds the process. By starting them with water, they start to grow right away. Often you put them in a pot of soil and you water them, they don't get as much moisture and it takes them longer. So we are actually going to compare. Are they faster or are they not? Once my seeds are all spread out and in the container that they're going to sprout in, I cover them with another paper towel. Now I have cut this paper towel down just a little bit so it fits flat in my container. And so you're just going to set it completely on top of the other one, just like that. This is my misting spray bottle, and I absolutely love this. In order to use it, I filled it with water yesterday, so it is definitely at room temperature. And then I pump up the top of it, and I spray my paper towel. And you can see the seeds through the top paper towel. I sprayed the water on there and it is damp, but it is not underwater. Don't fill your container with a ½ inch of water. You just want the paper towel to be wet. I placed the lid on and I taped the empty seed packet on top so I don't mix up my seeds. Now over the next few days, I'm going to open it, make sure it definitely has moisture on that paper towel. Don't let it dry out. I am going to move on to the spinach and then on to my 3 parsley, doing the same system that I just did with my marigolds. I don't need as many spinach seeds planted this year, so that should get me started pretty well. Remember that little seeds go a long way. This is parsley, and I'm actually going to put all 3 varieties in the same container. So with parsley, what I did is I scattered the seed, but I'm going to fold it in half because they're all going to go in the same one. And I wrote the variety up at the top. It may bleed a little that you won't be able to read it as clearly, but I will still be able to read it. Well, plan B, the paper towel with the moisture did not like the pen on it, so I cut it off, and what I'm going to do is I taped the parsley packs right on the lid, and that will be over those seeds. So I'm not going to get them mixed up. The lid is going to face one way, and so I am not going to write the name on the paper towel. As far as parsley, I have moss curled, and then I have double curled, but I like to plant the pearl green more than the others. So I planted twice as much seed as that. I'm going to cover that one on up and carefully spray it with water. Several people have asked me about my seed saving containers. These containers I purchased at Walmart. They are actually in the craft department, and they're very inexpensive. I like them because the lid locks onto them. So we open it up. Reminds me of those old metal army boxes. And then all of my seeds fit in there, whether they are a smaller pack, such as those, or my big Baker Creek packs. They all fit in there. So this is a system that I have used. I have many different ones. I am going to recategorize them. I always sorted them by flowers or vegetables, but I have so many seeds. I'm going to start organizing them by when I need to plant them. And there you have it. I have all of my seed starting containers set up. They are ready to sprout, and I will be checking in with you and showing you how they grow and how quickly they grow. It is pretty amazing. At this point, I'm going to put these 3 containers in a warm place. As you know, we are doing an experiment to see if it really matters if you sprout seeds ahead of time. And right now, I am going to plant marigold seeds. Now, I have seeds starting in a container that has a lid on with paper towels, so those seeds are going to sprout. But it's not going to be much of an experiment if I don't also plant seeds in my starter rack. I'm going to go ahead and plant these marigolds in half of this container. So I will mark them, but the first 6 rows are going to have seed directly planted in it. Then, once my marigold seeds come up in the container where they're on paper towels, I will plant them in the 6 rows on this side. And then we will be able to compare if it really makes a difference if they are sprouted when they are planted or if the seed is just planted. Typically, all of my marigold seeds come up, so I am only going to put 1 in each cell. I have placed 36 seeds on one side of my 72 cell planter. So it says to plant it about 1/4 of an inch deep. I am going to push the seeds down a little, just like that one there. Push it down a little and then brush the soil on top. And then I will come through and put just the teeniest bit of starter mix on top. I'm going to use my little spray bottle just to mist the top of these seeds. I don't want to get it soaking wet, but I do want it watered. And the soil itself is pretty damp. All right, just like that. I'm placing my tag. Now I put the variety, which is Sunset Giant, and Marigold Seeds, and I put that in capital letters because when I plant the other side of it, it's going to say the same thing except Marigold Sprouts. I only need 1 tag at this point. Now when I plant the others, I will put the tag in when the sprouts are ready to plant. Right now they just have gotten watered, so they are not ready to plant. Once they sprout, they'll go in here, and then I can begin comparing the growth between seeds or sprouts. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing with my parsley and with my spinach. Four days ago, I started an experiment to see if it made a difference whether you sprouted your seeds before you planted them or if you put them directly in the cells to start them indoors. And I started 3 different things: sunflower seeds, parsley, and spinach. I just took a peek at my seeds to see how they are doing, and I was actually pretty blown away. Let's see if we can see them on camera. You can see a little plant coming up there. This is my container of marigolds. Not only did they start to sprout, but over here on the sides, they are growing. So I have my doubts that the ones that were planted directly in the cells are going to outperform these, but I'm going to plant them and then we're going to look at them and see which one in fact does better. I planted 36 marigold seeds directly into my seed starter mix, and right now I'm going to plant 36 sprouts next to it so I can compare which one actually does better. I am very thankful that I spread these out, because what happened is you can see the seed, and out one side popped the sprout, and out the other side, that is the root coming out the left. So they have integrated into that paper towel. All I did was rip it apart, and I'm going to plant that entire thing. Because these have the root system already on there, I am going to make a pretty big hole so that it'll fit down in there. It's difficult to see, but the sprout is facing up, attached to that little bit of paper towel, and the root I pushed down. Here you can see that I placed a hole in the center of each one, and I also misted it with water. It was a little bit dry. Now I'm going to plant each one of these sprouts. All right, now my takeaway on planting sprouts versus planting seeds. Couple mistakes. Number 1, I planted way too much seed to sprout. Right now I've put in 36 little sprouts, but the reality is I probably have 200 more ready to plant. So next time I would count them out, because I had 100% germination on seed that was 2 years old. Crazy. Second lesson learned. Even though I spread them out when I was putting them on the paper towels, they were far too close together, and it was a monster getting them away from the other root systems that had already started, and these were only 4 days old. And thirdly, even though some of them were quite tall, like this one right here, it took me 5 times longer to plant sprouts than it did to plant seeds. So time effectiveness is not on its side. At this point, I'm going to set it under my grow lights, and the comparison is going to begin. I won't have an answer for probably 3 or 4 weeks on, is it a benefit to sprout your seeds in advance? But I think I'm going to publish this video today so that you can at least get started. Definitely they sprouted faster. I don't have any seeds up that were planted directly into the soil. I am definitely someone who does not waste anything that I grow. So all of these I'm going to plant together in a pot of soil. I think they'll actually be much easier to separate when they are larger. My spinach seeds are just now starting to swell and get tiny little roots. They are not ready to be planted, so I'm going to keep them in my container of paper towels and let them grow a little bit larger. And as far as my parsley seeds, they really haven't done anything yet. I have a couple seeds that have swollen, but most of them are still very tight and small. Is it a benefit to sprout your seeds before planting them? It definitely is faster. When I sprouted those in 4 days, these seeds were up. Are my other seeds up that were planted in soil? No. At this point, I'm going to take all of the sprouted marigold seeds and I'm going to put them in the tray of a planter. That way, when they get a little bit larger, I'll be able to separate them into smaller pots to sell in my farm stand. This is the original paper towel that I spread the seeds on. This was actually the paper towel on top of it. Some of those seeds reached upward and put their roots up there. I am barely going to cover them up with some seed starter potting soil mixture that I created. I do not want to put them 1/4 of an inch down because at that point some of these green sprouts are going to suffocate under the soil. So I'm barely going to put a top coating of organic soil on top. I spread that out with my hands, barely putting some potting soil on top so that the roots would have something to reach to and the sprouts itself could grow up. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day. Bye-bye.